Hey everybody, glad you could join me today. What we're going to be taking a look at today is the Sense Herakles RTA. Now this is the original Sense Herakles RTA. It has since been taken out of production by Sense and has been replaced with the Sense Herakles RTA version 2. The fact that there's still some of these out there for sale, these original ones, I had to make this video. And I'll get more into that when we get down into the build cam and when we finally get up to discuss it later on. This single tank that I have here, this one single tank, has an issue, still has an issue, that is not very good. Yeah, I hope it was just the production run, because I've not heard anybody else out there say what I'm going to be saying about this tank. But then again, I only have one of them, this one right here, to base my opinion on. And since I bought this through normal consumer channels back in October-ish of last year, I can only speak to this particular RTA. Yeah. I'm said enough. Let's head on down to the build deck and take a look and see what's going on with this thing. I'll fill you in more as we go along. Okay? Meet you down below decks. Okay, folks, nice of you to join me today. Thank you for coming. And here we are down on the build deck, and we're going to be taking a look at this today. The Herakles RTA from Sense. This has been out on the market for quite a while now. I got this back in October of last year. And to tell you the truth, I wasn't really sure whether or not I was going to do a review on this after, well, you'll see why I'm talking about it in a few minutes. But I finally decided that I was going to do the review on this for the simple reason that after I did a little bit of research out there, I found that there are still some of these that are out there on the market and are available for sale. And if any of you out there might be considering this tank, I felt that you needed to know where all the warts were, shall we say. Okay? So, yeah, that's why I'm doing this review on this thing today. And so let's get down to it and take a look and see what we got going here. Okay? Here you see the package as you'll get it in the mail, or if you buy it at the store, whatever the case may be. You have the outer band here. Show you what it shows on the back, and you got your UPC code there on the band. So let's take the band off and take a look and see what we've got here. All right, you have the standard plastic clamshell, which just about every tank coming from out of China these days comes in. We'll open this up. Actually, no, we're not going to open it up just yet. This is the front of the package. Side of the package here, Sense Herakles RTA, Sense Herakles RTA, Sense. On the back, you've got your scratch and check authenticity sticker. Brief description of the tank itself, and the usual CE marks required by different jurisdictions, as well as information about the company. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's take a look and see what we got inside. All right, you have your Sense Herakles RTA, which we're going to look at in a minute or two. Put that over there. On this side over here, you have a fold-out that has instructions on how to wick it. This tank is 24.3 millimeters in diameter. I know it says 24.7 here, but I actually measured it and it came out to 24.3. Now, from the base of the tank here, not including the 510, to the top piece here, it measures 51.5 millimeters. And from the base to the top of the provided drip tip is 63.5 millimeters. In here we also have a small parts tube that has the spare glass wrapped around it inside of the sponge foam for protection. And as you can see, it says here, since Herakles RTA. So I'm going to move that up out of the way for a second here, and we're going to take a look and see what we've got in here. Let me just get a pair of tweezers out here so we can get in here. Now in here you have a 510 drip tip adapter, which will screw in place of the provided drip tip. We're going to leave that out because I do not like this drip tip at all. I don't like big wide things in my mouth. I prefer something a little bit thinner and smaller. Inside the spare parts tube, you also come up with a small parts package here, which has one set of grub screws, one extra copper 510 center pin, a Allen key, and a little blue screwdriver with a flathead bit on it. All right, so put that to one side. And down here, way down in the bottom of the tube, we also have a set of additional O-rings, both clear and black. All right, so we're going to put that back in here, push that back in there like so. And we're going to put this back in here like that, and we're going to put all this stuff together and get it the heck out of the way here so we can get and deal with the star of the show. Alright, so put that there like so. Move that out of the way. Okay, now, as I said before, this has a provided drip tip here. It is Delrin. It screws into place here in the top of the fill port access cap, and the 510 drip tip adapter will screw in place here. So you would have to add another 5 millimeters here onto that. So instead of 51.5, it will become 56.5 millimeters to the top from down here. This is a 6 milliliter tank. It is top fill. It has a velocity deck in there. The velocity deck holes are 2.5 millimeters in diameter. It does Griffin style wicking. The air holes down here at the base, which are vernier, they do not have click stops on them, but they do have hard stops, both fully closed and fully opened. They measure 7 millimeters this way by 2 millimeters this way. The standard drip tip here, this is a 10 millimeter drip tip. And so we're going to take the top fill. Actually, let's not take that off just yet. Let's take a look down here at the bottom. Okay, down here at the bottom, you have the design and manufactured by Sigrid at the bottom. You also have the 510 center pin. As I showed you before, it is solid coppered. This one here is slightly discolored and very nicely patinaed. It does not protrude very much from the base of the 510, which has not been painted to give very good conductivity. All right, so that 510 is there. So let's take a look here at the top, and we're going to take the top fill cap off and unscrew it. As you can see, you have a nice clear O-ring on here to keep the juice where it's supposed to be, and that's what it looks like there at the bottom. You have another one in here on the inside of the, well, on the outside, I should say, of the center chimney connector here on the top cap. You have two nice big kidney-shaped juice flow holes here, which I can very easily assure you will take the tip from any 30 milliliter or larger glass pipette to do your filling in. So we're going to take this off now. I'm just going to take this and unscrew this here. Now, in a second here, you're probably going to see one of the things, actually the thing that drove me nuts on this tank. And one of the things that really PO'd me off. All right. So I'm just going to unscrew this here now and take this off. And there we go. Now you can see it. There's your deck. All right. Now, there is supposed to be a ring here. Now, this is what happened the very first time I pulled this off, okay? There is supposed to be a ring here because this is supposed to be a Griffin-style air wicking system. As you can see here, there is threading here, but no ring. Gee, where'd the ring go? Well, the ring is right here. Now, even after all of the work that I have done on modifying this tank from the way it was when I first got it, actually repairing should be more like it, this still happens. Because as you can see right here, that ring is stuck inside this chimney. Now, when I first got this thing was hard stuck in here. When I took this out, it actually deformed this ring ever so slightly. All right, and now at least I can take the ring out and put it over here. Now, the reason why that ring got stuck in here was because when they manufactured this tank, and I can only stress that it's this tank that I'm talking about. It could be quite a few other tanks in the particular production run, which I have no idea what the production run is on this tank. But in the production run that they made this tank in, when they punched the holes for the juice flow control, which if you give me 1 second here, I am going to access so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, and that's the top cap coming off there, the fill cap, and that's the glass, and that's the chimney. Now, when they took this chimney and they punched these holes here for the juice flow controls, you can see where I put my tweezers through. All 4 of these little holes here, okay? When they punched these holes through, they punched them through from the outside here in. It went ka-chunk. Now, when they did, the die that punched that hole was not sharp. Think about that for a minute. It was not sharp. Now, when they punched that through, there were burrs all over the inside of each one of these holes here. That is what was holding this ring into place. Now, it took me 2 months of working with a jeweler's warding file, a half-round jeweler's warding file, to literally file down the burrs that were on the inside of this here. And as you can see, all of the file marks in here. Now, you can also see down here at the bottom, there you go, you can see the discoloration in here. That discoloration is not from me working on this thing. That's from actually when they made the chimney, and they made they actually heated up the metal here to produce the black finish, because this isn't a black paint that's on here. This is actually almost like an anodizing, and they really didn't do a great job here on the inside. They did everything on the outside to make it look great, but the inside, well, that got very short shrift. And they also got short shrift when the quality control people checked and didn't find this. This got assembled onto that, and then that got screwed into here, and then everything got packed up and shipped out for sale. And when I unscrewed this here ring got stuck inside there like so. Okay? Got hard stuck. As I said, when I pulled that out, that slightly deformed it. Not very much, but just enough so that way it was out of total round. Which meant that I had to also not only file down the burrs that are in here to get it to the point where I can actually get it to turn, and have this come off only maybe 5 to 10% of the times, but also to the fact that this thing here was not scraping inside here and not actually turning very well. Okay, so yeah, that's my issue with this tank. Okay, as you can see here on the build deck, you have actually got 4 air slots in here. Your main air comes in here from the bottom. You have 4 air slots down here on the bottom, which, as I showed you before, is controlled by the airflow with hard close and hard open settings. The airflow comes in and comes up through these 4 holes. You have one here and one here directly underneath of your coils, but you also have 2 more here. One here under the negative deck and another one here, under the negative post, and another one here under the positive post of the velocity deck. Now, I understand from reading some of the material on this tank that these posts are actually, you can actually turn them to be able to use different types and different shapes of coils and different configurations. Well, I've never been able to figure that out. I've actually unscrewed this here and taken this pin out, and there is no other screw here, even though when you look down here at the top, it looks like there's a screw here. And there's actual threads on this, the shaft that's here. I have not been able to figure out how to get this thing to be able to turn these here, to be able to use that different configuration. I even took my high power magnifying glass and looked down through the hole here, and I even took a probe and went in there to look, and there's no slot in there to allow me to loosen up that center screw to offset this. Now, I don't understand this, but that's what I found. So maybe I wasn't seeing something, maybe there's something else there, I don't know. I took a good hard long look on this thing, and that's it. It's not there, but they say it can be done, so I'm going to report to you and tell you that it, quote, can be done. Okay, so that's the breakdown on this. Now, because this is a standard velocity deck, I am not going to do any coiling. As you can see here, I've already got a coil on here. This is like 6 wraps of 26 American wire gauge, or 0.40 Canthol A1. 2 coils here. They are spaced coils. I can do micro coils when I have to, when the deck calls for it, but I prefer space coils. The reason for that is that I don't have to worry about going crazy trying to get them to glow evenly, and I have to rake them and all that other stuff. You just make these things and throw them in here, and you're done. So, all right. So let me just grab my meter here, and we're going to put this in here, and we're gonna just wick this thing up, because the wicking on this thing is really the most important part of this deck. Now, this is a 3.5 millimeter inside diameter coil here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my cotton here. I'm going to pat this cotton down. Excuse me, folks. I'm so sorry about this. Sorry about all the sound effects here. But my sinuses have been going crazy the last couple of days, so it's nothing I can really do anything about. So I'm going to grab this metric ruler here. Now, for a 3.5 millimeter deck, coil, the way I'm going to be coiling this, I want quite a bit of cotton in there. So I'm going to make this a hard tug cotton, as I call it, which means that I'm going to place my marks here at 2 centimeters or 20 millimeters. And since I need 2 coils, I'm going to do it at 20 and 40. And I'm just going to put this here, and I'm going to make a couple of marks going up the line here so that I get a rather even cut, since I can be blind in one eye and half blind in the other sometimes. And yeah, just I've got moving wires around here off camera. So that goes there, that goes there, and then we're going to take this and we're going to go there and there. So as you can see, I have a little line of dots there. Get rid of those, and I'm going to get my skizzers, and we're going to follow the dots. I'm going to take that, put that to one side, waste not, want not, and we're going to cut the 2 wicks, just like so. 2 centimeters or 20 millimeters in width. Alright, so what I'm going to do now also is we're going to skin these things. Ooh, so much fun skinning. Yeah, sorry. inappropriate. Yeah, what can I tell you? That's me. Just totally inappropriate sometimes. Okay, we're just going to pull these off like so. Flatten these out. Now, you do see that there is still a little bit of inks on here that is showing up in a couple of spots like here and on here. Don't worry about it. It's not going to bother it. This is all food safe grade, food safe ink on here, so it's not really going to bother. You know, because these are going to be rather thick, I'm going to cut myself my little arrowheads as I usually do when I'm making these kind of wicks. And just goes bada bink and bada bink. Alright, get all this stuff out of the way. And let us roll our wicks up here. And we're going to pinch and twist here at the end where I made the arrowheads. And we're going to move that out of the way. We're going to move this over here like so. And we're just going to pinch and twist, and that makes a nice thin... Oh, come on. You're going to make a liar out of me now? Jeez. Alright, there we go. Makes it easier to get it through. Now you're going to pull and twist at the same time. Now you see how that's deforming in there? How it's moving that coil around? Now the reason why I want it like that is because this coil, I noticed when I'm working with this tank, it can turn around, it can get a little bit, how should I say it, spitty sometimes. So if I have a loose wick in here, it tends to be even more spitty, probably because when this wire on the coil heats up and expands, which is going to expand a lot faster than the cotton does, you wind up getting a film of juice over the top of the cotton, between the cotton and the wire, which then causes the juice to vaporize almost instantaneously, causing that popping sound. It's the instantaneous causing of steam to occur that gives you that pop sound, and also that spit back into your tongue. So we're going to take that and we're going to put that there, and we're going to take and we're going to roll this other cotton. Actually, I'm going to tease this out just a little bit here, and then we're going to roll this up like so. Not compressed enough. There we go. That should do it. Okay, so we're going to take that and we're going to tug a little bit, and then we're going to twist. Now that's a little bit better. That other one piece over here is just a little bit too, it's just a little bit big. Okay, now what I'm going to do here, as I center this up sideways and make it a little easier for you to see this, what I'm going to do is when I cut this, I'm going to be cutting it. This is one landmark here. That's too little cotton. That's too much cotton. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to put this edge, which is the actual cutting edge here, I'm going to look down here and I'm going to actually put it halfway between here and here. So I'm going to put that there, open the scissors up, and then I'm going to bring this down and very slowly cut through the cotton, like so. Okay? And then I'm going to just even this up a little bit here, since it didn't turn around, come off totally even. Okay? And then we're going to bring this around here to this side, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to lift these things up, them things. Yeah, right. Good English, Joe. And then we're going to put that there like that, and we're going to put that there, and we're going to slowly come down, and we're going to slowly guillotine these wicks into place like so. Okay, let's get this cut stuff out of the way. Now, there's my tool. Okay. All right, now, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this or not, but whenever you cut cotton with a scissor, you're going to produce compressed layers of cotton in here, okay, which are these white bands here. Here, you can see it better on this side, maybe. What happens is it compresses the cotton and it makes it hard. That is not going to wick. So what you have to do is you have to get in here and you have to fluff out those strands of cotton again to get them all nice and foofy, okay? I'm sorry, that's the best word I can think of right now. So you're going to make this all nice and foofy and fluff them out like so. All right, and we're going to do the same thing over here. Nice and foofy. Nice and foofy. Okay, so I'm going to tease them out. Now, to comb or not to comb your wicks. Well, to tell you the truth, I have gotten good results from both combing and not combing. With this particular tank, you have to comb it a little bit. So what I do is I just come in here. When you comb through this, you're actually not only arranging the fibers in line, but you're also taking out some of the cotton's density here. And the reason for that is because there's not much room here in the wicks, and you really want to make sure that all of these cotton fibers are thoroughly and absolutely going in the same direction. Not only that, but you also want to thin them out just a touch. And that's pretty much it. Let's do this other side over here. Let's do this other one here. We're just going to comb this out just a little bit here. Not too much. You don't want to take these things down too thin, but then you don't want them too thick either. It takes a lot of time when you're working with a tank to actually be able to learn from the tank exactly what the tank needs to work properly. And no matter what I do here on this video, it is not going to give you all of that information. The only way you're going to get that information is by actually working with a particular tank for a given amount of time. I can only show you what I've done and give you some pointers so that way if you should decide that you would want to buy this tank, that you can turn around and have it's going to take you less time to get yourself up and running with it. Alright, so let me just get these little pieces of cotton here out of the way. Drives me crazy. And I need some juice. Alright, I'm going to be working with Quack's Goose Juice again. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to pinch the cotton like this. I'm going to turn it into a bad imitation of a 1950s Cadillac tail fin, like so, the old fish fins. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to bring this down here into these juice wells, like so. Okay, now I'm going to take a smaller pair of scissors, and I'm going to place my scissors like so. I'm going to put them right here on the threading, and I'm going to snip like so. Because now you see how I got that there? And we're going to do the same thing over here on this side. I'm going to take that, put that onto the threading. Actually, I need to bring this down here into the channel, proper channel, and push that into place there. And we just need to cut off the excess here, like so. And comb this out like so. 50s fish fin. Put that into the juice channel like so. Take this, put this against the threading. snip, and fish fin, juice channel, skizzers, snip. Okay, now that we've got those made up like that, and we can get those out of the way, we're going to take our juice, and we're going to apply some juice here to the cut ends of that cotton. Yes, I did not fluff these things out because I really don't want to at this point. The cotton is already in line as much as it's going to be. And now we can just plaster these things here into place like so. Hold them into place, and you want these wicks to dam here at the dam up at the top here just a little bit, but you also want some of the wicks to go down into the juice flow, and you want to try and have as much room here. Now this one here is really nice, okay? This one here is a little touch long. That's not going to bother it too much. And this one here, that one's actually pretty good, because you want to have the majority of this area down here open, so when the juice comes in, hits that, and it just wicks itself right up. All right, so let's take the ring. I'm going to take the ring, and we're going to put this down over. I'm going to get back on camera here. I'm going to push this down here like so, and I'm going to screw this ring on into place here like so. Get it into place. And nice and tight. Love that juice. Alright, so we're going to put this here. And I'm just going to make sure that we've got the fibers here. Because don't forget, these fibers are, as soon as the juice starts hitting them, they're going to fluff up and plump up. And it's going to act like a dam in here. But you want to have this cotton in here holding the line. Otherwise you're going to wind up having you're going to have juice coming all over the place. Okay, and like so. All right, so let's take this, check the ohmmeter. This is the crucial point. Okay, so we got 0.40, 0.1, yeah, fluctuating between 0.40 and 0.41. So now we're going to take this and we're going to slide this over the top here and see if that changes appreciably. And it hasn't. Great. Which means it has not shorted out against the barrel of the coil, barrel of the chamber. Alright, so we're going to put this on here like so. And then we're going to take this and we're going to screw this on here like so. And just take my tweezers and torque down on this a little bit here. Make sure we got good compression on those O-rings. And I'm going to fill this up just a little bit here. I'm not going to put too much in here. Yeah, that should do it. And we're going to take this, put this on here like so. And I'm going to take a 510 drip tip, kind that I like, put that in there. And there you have it. We're going to open up the juice flow ring here and see if we've got any air bubbles. Yes, we have an air bubble there. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to let this sit here for a few minutes, let this the cotton soak up. And juice all over the place. Wow. I got a spot. All right. All right. that's pretty much it. So let's head on up to FaceTime, talk about this, and discuss this, and then I'll let you guys get out of here. All right? See you topside. Okay, here we are back topside. Have the RTA right here, and I'm going to be putting it on the Arctic Dolphin that I did a review on just recently. A little bit of an update later on about that Arctic Dolphin that I won from Phil up at the meet and greet. Some information I found out from Arctic Dolphin. All right, so I'm going to. This is definitely very juicy right now. The wicks in here have not fully. The wicks in here have not fully expanded yet. They're still in the process of expanding, so you're going to get that with these Griffin style tanks. Every Griffin style tank that I've ever done, the first maybe half a tank or 3/4 of a tank that you put through these things, they turn around and they leak through the air holes because of the fact that the cotton hasn't expanded. Now, if you find after doing the wicking like I showed you here that the cotton it's still leaking like after the first full tank, then what you might want to do is you might want to go in there, re-wick it, and this time instead of combing out like I did with the dental probe, as much as I did, just a little less. Take out a little less of the cotton out of there. This way you'll have a lot more cotton in those juice wells. Okay, so here we go. I've got this set at, oh, help if I turn it on. There we go. And also help if I opened up the juice flow control so I don't wind up getting a dry hit. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's not, I don't want it at 49, I want it at 50 watts. So we got it at 50 watts, 0.39 ohms, and let's vape it. Now, this thing produces clouds, as you can see. That you heard those little pops that were in there? Now, those pops were happening because the wick is still settling in, okay? Once this thing settles in, it's not going to pop anymore. Everything on this tank boils down to the wicking. Now, every Griffin style wicking style tank that I have ever done, and I have not done the Griffin yet, but I will be. I have one here. I managed to find a place that actually still has them. I'm going to be doing that in the next week or two. Okay? Every tank that uses a Griffin style wicking method has the same issue during the initial break-in of the wicking. Every one of them that I've done, okay? And I've done like 3 or 4 of these things already. Well, reviews on 3 or 4 of them. I've put in countless wicks in each and every one of them, single coil, dual coil on those ones that have single coil option. And they all do the same thing. They all leak like a son of a gun for about the first half to a full tank, depending upon the individual tank itself. Okay? But once the wicks have fully expanded, they've bedded themselves in, they fully expanded, and they're closing off the juice coming in from getting to the airport, the air intake ports, that's when these things start to wick nicely. Now, this is an inherent thing with the design. All of last year, through the summer of last year into the fall of last year, the Griffin style tank, the Griffin style wicking tanks, the tanks that use Griffin style wicking, they were the greatest thing since sliced bread, okay? And then a lot of people started realizing that, you know, hey, these things still do leak a little bit, okay? But they do chuck the clouds. And the flavor on this thing is absolutely phenomenal. Now, I am not going to give this tank a recommendation. I am going to tell you exactly what I think about the tank, and that's all I can do. Now, I have not heard of anybody else out there who has gotten this tank for review having this kind of an issue. I haven't. Now, as I said before on the bill cam, this may have been a one-off issue where this one and maybe all the rest of them in this batch to a certain point were made with a die that was getting dull. And instead of cutting the metal cleanly, it punched it, but it left burrs on the inside that the operator didn't notice, or that the quality control people might not have noticed. I don't know. I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt here. Because as I said, I have not heard anybody else having this same kind of an issue with this tank. But I can only go by what I have here in front of me. Okay? Now, as I said before, I got this last October. I got it for $18.62. Okay, from Vapor Beast. Now, I believe Element Vape has... Let me just get my notes here. Yes, Element Vape has this in stock right now. At the time I'm doing this on 17 June, they have it in stock for $16.95. There are also a couple of other places out there that are selling this for $30 and up. Okay? Which is the price that it was selling for back last year at the height of the Griffin tank boom. I'm sorry. If this tank here is any indication of the quality control that Sense has, or had, I should say, at the time that this tank was made, I can't give this a recommendation. I will tell you that the flavor is great. I will tell you that the clouds are great. It is a very easy tank to wick if you can keep the ring in place. But because of the issue with the punching of the juice flow control holes and the causing of the ring to disengage and having to spend a month, 2 months with a very small jeweler's file filing down the inside of it to deburr it, and I still haven't gotten all the burrs out of there yet. And every so often, when I do take this thing apart, the ring will still come out as I'm taking it apart. Let me see if we can. Let me just do something here. I know there's going to be some people out there that's not going to believe me, but let's see if this thing will do this now here on camera. There's still some juice coming out. I might not have put in enough cotton on that wicking. Yeah, there's still way too much juice. So next time, don't be as radical as I was when I was combing it out. All right, so let's take a look and see. All right, I'm going to unscrew this, and let's see if the ring comes out. Aha! See that? See that? The ring is not there. See, that ring is not there. Okay? look in there. Let me get my tool. See if I can get this angled here. See that ring? Right there. I'm going to pull it right out so you can see that I'm not kidding here. Come on. And it's getting stuck just above the juice flow controls. There's the ring. And if you watched me putting this on down on the build cam, you know I screwed this thing on. And I screwed it on nice and tight so it didn't come off. And yet there it is sitting in there where it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be, if I can put this down someplace so it doesn't drop, it's supposed to be sitting here on those threads right there. Right there, holding these wicks in place. So that way you can open this up and you don't have to worry about the wicks moving and screwing up. Okay? Now, as I said to you before, this may be a one-off issue. There may be some other ones out there with this issue. Because if they were running, we'll say, this thing's got 4 holes in each one. So maybe this one here was the last one. Maybe this was one of maybe 50 or 100 or 150, 200. I don't know how many they did on a batch at a time. But if there's other ones out there like this, it has to be. If there's one there, there's got to be other ones. And because of that, I can't give it a recommendation. If you want to try going for it, be my guest. Like I said, the flavor is excellent on this. The cloud production is excellent. That issue and the fact that the extra work that I had to do, no recommendation on this. And that's pretty much it. That's what I have to give you on the Sense Herakles RTA. With that, there's a couple of things I did want to say. On the Arctic Dolphin, I spoke with the folks at Arctic Dolphin. It seems this one here that I have is a very early production model. Well, a pre-production model. This one does not have the ability to update the firmware. Okay, they checked the serial numbers and they found out that this is not one of the ones, because this was a pre-production basically, this does not have the ability to update the firmware. So there's no way I can put stainless steel in here. I have been assured by the people at Arctic Dolphin that this actual mod does have stainless steel as part, 316 stainless steel as part of its normal temperature control retinue. This one just doesn't, and I can't update it. So just want to update that to let you folks know what I found out. Yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. So I'm going to chop out of here now. Let you folks get back to what you're doing. Thank you very much for putting up with my ramblings and my meanderings here. As I said, I just want to get this out and let you know exactly what it is. I was really seriously thinking I was not going to do this, but I finally decided that I had to do this, because if I don't do this to let you know what's going on, who the heck is going to? Because this is an old enough tank that all of the reviewers have done their reviews on this tank as it is. None of them are going to go revisiting this. With buying a a tank from the normal consumer route of purchase. And since I got this in October, there's still got to be some out there. I'll bet you some of the ones that are out there that are still up for sale right now at Element Vape and some of the other places, the later productions on this, because I understand that this tank is no longer in production by Sense, because they've turned around, they've come out with the Herakles RTA version 2. So these tanks that are out there are probably still of the same batch that this one is. So if you get one and you find that this kind of an issue has happened, if you are a masochist like I am, and you want to go out there and spend the time of filing it down with a little half-round jeweler's file, be my guest. Or you can just get in touch with the vendor and let them know that you have a similar issue to what I'm addressing here in this video, and give them this video so they can turn around and reference this to know exactly what I'm talking about, what you're talking about. Okay? That's it, folks. Take care. God bless. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be ever at your back. May the Lord hold you in the hollow of his hand, and may you be in heaven a half an hour before the devil knows you're dead. Take care. Bye for now.